Right now, more than a dozen people need a place to stay after a duplex fire on the east side. We'll share the very latest.
Also, the search for a missing 13-year-old hits half a year. We hear from the boy's father in the continued investigation.
And lawmakers consider a bill to count absentee votes well before we all go to bed on election night. We'll have details on how this plan would work. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Well, this early morning fire on Madison's east side left 2 blocks of Milwaukee Street closed for several hours and 2 families without a home.
A total of 13 people were displaced. Our Jalen Banks joins us live from the scene of the fire with the latest on what we know. Jalen?
The call that came for this duplex on the 5100 block of Milwaukee Street just came after 3 a.m. The fire happened on the top floor of the duplex, taking out both bathrooms and part of the upstairs bedrooms. The Red Cross tells me the 13 people affected by the fire consisted of 2 families. One family of 5 adults and 2 kids, and another family of 2 adults and 4 kids. According to the Madison Fire Department, all residents and pets made it out safely with no injuries. The Red Cross says they plan to help assisting in shelter, finances, medication, eyewear, as well as mental health services. And tonight at 6, we'll hear from one of the residents who lives at this duplex about what they experienced during the fire. Reporting in Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
We will see you at 6, Jalen. Thank you. More than 1 month after a fatal crash on Madison's north side, police say the surviving driver remains in the hospital and faces potential homicide charges. On November 10th, in the area of Packers Avenue and Manley Street, 77-year-old Roderick Anderson was killed trying to turn left onto Manley Street when his car was hit by a blue sedan that was allegedly speeding. In an update today, Madison police say the department has referred a potential charge of homicide by negligent use of a vehicle to the surviving driver. As of this morning, the man has not been formally charged.
Next tonight, a live look at the Beltline. A mostly sunny, windy, and chilly Tuesday, but we do have some good news. Temperatures around southern Wisconsin look like they'll be going up a bit for the rest of the week. And with just how warm they might get, let's get your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti out on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, it'll certainly be above normal and certainly warm enough that we should not see any snow accumulations over the next week to 10 days, even when we have precipitation, and that won't be very often either. You can see a visible cloud track. We had bright sunshine all day today. A little bit of a snowpack in the northern part of the state continues to erode away. Some clouds to our south, some clouds to the north. Right now, Doppler track showing some lake effect snow showers on the eastern end of Lake Superior and some snow flurries across southwestern portions of Iowa. That's actually milder air heading in our direction. Last night, we dropped to a low of 26 in Madison. Most areas saw temperatures in the lower to middle 20s. Right now, we're right at 30 degrees in Madison. Janesville still at 32, but everybody else at or below freezing. Here in Dane County, 30 in Sun Prairie, 31 in Belleville, and 31 in Mount Horeb. Wind chills right now, not too bad. They're mainly in the middle 20s here in Madison. The wind chill makes it feel like it's 25 degrees, feels like 23 in Lone Rock and 20 in Monroe. This evening, skies will be partly cloudy. Temperatures will drop off to about 25 degrees by late evening. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that not only includes mild weather, but not a lot in the way of snow chances.
All right, Gary, thank you. Today marks 6 months now since a Sauk County teen went missing and never came back.
Since 13-year-old James Yablonsky left his home in June, months of searches and extensive investigations have continued, but he still has not been found. Our Catherine Merck spoke to his father today. Catherine?
It's been 6 months since Bill Yablonsky says he last saw his son James. He keeps track of the time that's gone by week by week. James left home in a family vehicle late in the night of June 11th or in the early morning of June 12th. That vehicle was later found near Devil's Lake State Park. Since then, dozens of law enforcement officers and family have searched the heavily wooded and hilly area for him, finding evidence of campsites, but not James himself. Despite the length of the search, his father still believes his son is alive.
Every day's harder and harder because you wonder where he's at and if he's safe. You know, I just want him home safe.
The grieving father was asked to take a polygraph test as part of the investigation. A detective with the Sauk County Sheriff's Office told me today that their findings show he's not to blame for his son's disappearance. The detective also told me that they are now relying on public information for tips and any other leads. If you know anything, contact them.
Catherine, thank you. Big changes could be coming to the way Wisconsin residents pick their congressional and Senate candidates by ranking them 1 through 5. The bipartisan measure was scheduled for a public hearing today. It would ask voters to rank their candidates instead of voting for one of 2 candidates. Proponents say it'll make things less partisan and improve chances for third-party candidates. But those against say it's too complicated. A group of Republican lawmakers in Wisconsin is pushing to have it outlawed by way of a constitutional amendment.
At that same hearing, lawmakers debated a bill that would allow election workers to start counting absentee ballots early. Political reporter Will Keneally has the details.
Those late nights waiting for election results could be a thing of the past, as this bill would allow cities to start counting absentee ballots the Monday before Election Day.
So on election night at the polls, they're doing everything that they can do to get everything processed by the end of the day. If the polls are extremely busy, they have to wait until the absentee ballots after the polls close.
Election nights are hectic, especially for poll workers, as they handle administering in-person voting, but also counting the absentee ballots. That can slow down the process, and they don't get to start until the polls open on Election Day.
I think this would be a huge plus. They could get the results into us sooner, so you're not waiting as late at night to get those results.
This bill would allow all cities to start counting absentee ballots on Mondays if they wanted to, and require cities that centrally count their absentee ballots to start on Monday. Back in 2020, the city of Milwaukee, one of those central count cities, posted election results late into the night because of the influx of absentee ballots that year. And that concerned some conservatives.
The crisis right now is that we're at an all-time low level of trust in our election process.
Everything is secured with security seals. It's kind of like your checkbook. They have a different number. They log everything. They have chain of custody logs. They have seals.
Now, in that same committee hearing, lawmakers also considered the appointment of the newest Democratic appointee to the state's Elections Commission. Now, that appointment comes after lawmakers fired her predecessor over voting to keep in place the state's nonpartisan top elections official. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
We now know who will replace longtime Waunakee School Superintendent Randy Gutenberg next year. Last night, the school board unanimously voted to hire Dr. Monica Kelsey Brown. She's currently the superintendent of schools in the North Milwaukee suburb of Brown Deer. She's a former second-grade teacher in the Milwaukee Public School District. She will take office July 1st, taking over for Gutenberg, who is retiring after 16 years in the position.
Next at 5, the University of Pennsylvania has named Dr. J. Larry Jameson as its new interim president. He has served as the dean of the Penn Medical School. The Board of Trustees says his appointment is effective immediately. He will be replacing Liz McGill, who resigned over the weekend. She faces criticism for not declaring calls for Jewish genocide a violation of the Ivy League school's bullying and harassment policies. President Biden met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Washington today.
The visit comes as U.S. funding to supply weapons and ammunition for Ukraine is set to run out within weeks. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
Well, Mr. President, welcome back.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sat side by side with President Biden in the Oval Office as he seeks more aid to help fight Russia.
Mr. President, I call on Congress to do the right thing, to stand with Ukraine and to stand up for freedom.
Earlier Tuesday, Zelensky took his case to lawmakers on Capitol Hill, where a $61 billion U.S. aid package for Ukraine remains stalled.
President Zelensky made it so clear how he needs help. But if he gets the help, he can win this war.
The Biden administration is asking for the money as part of a larger supplemental national security funding package, which also includes aid for Israel. But some Senate Republicans say they won't agree to the measure unless Democrats address U.S. border security needs.
Our first condition is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe.
Time is running out for Congress to approve aid for Ukraine before the end of the year, putting Ukraine in further danger.
This winter, Putin plans once again to bombard Ukraine's electric grid. He intends to, with rockets and plunging families into darkness in the coldest part of the year.
Almost 2 years into the war, Ukraine has had some success beating back Russian forces. The U.S. intelligence community estimates Russia has lost about 87% of its active duty ground troops, as well as hundreds of combat vehicles, forcing Russia to continue the fight with stored Soviet-era equipment. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Tomorrow, President Biden is set to meet with families of American hostages held by Hamas. The White House says the families are in Washington to advocate for their loved ones. The families want the U.S. and the Israeli governments to work harder to secure their release. 7 American men and 1 woman are still missing after the October 7th attack. The Americans who have been released so far include 3 adult women and a 4-year-old girl.
Turning to the war in Gaza, there is new evidence on video of the toll it's taking on civilians there. It was taken just after airstrikes killed at least 22 people overnight in the southern city of Rafah. Anti-war protesters in the West Bank marched with a growing list of Palestinians killed in Gaza. They want the U.S. to call for an Israeli ceasefire, but both nations say a ceasefire will allow Hamas to regroup. The U.S. has urged Israel to put a premium on human life.
In New York, a man accused of firing a shotgun outside of an Albany synagogue last week is now facing federal firearms charges. Prosecutors say Mufid Al-Qadr got that gun from a friend who reportedly lied on a federal form when buying the gun weeks before the incident. They also say Al-Qadr did not try to buy the shotgun himself due to a prior protection or restraining order. Investigators say he opened fire outside Temple Israel in Albany on December 7th. Officers arrested him later that day. He reportedly told police during an interview that the events in the Middle East have impacted him.
The Texas Supreme Court has ruled a woman in the state cannot get an abortion under the medical emergency exception. Kate Cox sued to terminate her pregnancy after learning her unborn baby has a fatal genetic condition. She says doctors told her continuing the pregnancy threatened her future fertility. The Texas Supreme Court ruled against her, but the 9 Republican justices also called on the state's medical board to provide more guidance on the medical emergency exception. The justices said Cox's doctor didn't establish her symptoms were life-threatening. Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5, the UW volleyball team Tampa bound, inching closer to a goal of another national championship.
And we'll go to Rock County, where the only free medical clinic for low-income patients is fighting for survival as the new year draws near. That story coming up.
And on Wall Street, more positive numbers. The Dow surging some 173 points. The NASDAQ adds 101. S&P 500 up 21. We'll be right back.
Win a hand-paid jackpot at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin Dells, and you'll have a chance to win a new Mercedes and a shot at $100,000 in cash. It's the Mega Jackpot Winners Quarterly Drawings going on now at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin Dells.
Stella uses AT&T for her internet and mobile service. Abby has Spectrum One. The difference is big. With AT&T, Stella pays a lot more.
I do?
It's $110 a month for AT&T internet and an AT&T unlimited extra line.
Plus monthly fees. Ouch.
With Spectrum One, Abby gets big savings. Spectrum internet with the most reliable internet speeds.
It's really fast.
Advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced privacy and security, and an unlimited mobile line with nationwide 5G, all with no added taxes or hidden fees. Now you can get Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and a free unlimited mobile line.
That's a good deal. I know.
With Spectrum One, Abby is saving big, over $75 a month. That's over $900 in savings. So Stella, what do you think?
I'm switching to Spectrum.
Spectrum One is a big deal. Call 800-872-0180. Visit spectrum.com or a Spectrum store today.
Over the years, the attorneys at Habish, & Rotier have handled numerous cases involving the design and relative safety of child car seats. Because of this litigation, manufacturers have been forced to make these seats safer. We helped change the industry, and our most precious cargo can now travel more safely. The skill expended to achieve this result is the opposite of one phone call and a quick settlement. Habish, & Rotier, national reputation, hometown service.
You want it, we got it, it's all here. Rosemont it. You want some ice time, a nice time, so good you post it twice time. You want some cheer? Now I'll show you where you gotta be. Tell you who you gotta see. Ooh, it's gonna make you smile. You want it, we got it, it's all here. Rosemont.
Enjoy the magic of the North Pole, just east of O'Hare, with miles of memories waiting to be made. To Rosemont it your way, start at rosemont.com.
Rosemont it.
Win a hand-paid jackpot at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin Dells, and you'll have a chance to win a new Mercedes and a shot at $100,000 in cash. It's the Mega Jackpot Winners Quarterly Drawings, going on now at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin Dells.
Coming up on News 3 Now, a local teen has been missing for 6 months, last seen near Devil's Lake State Park. Catherine Merck looks at where the case stands and asks what happened to Jacob Yablonsky tonight at 6.
Start your new day with the News 3 Now This Morning team, bringing you local breaking news, exploring all that makes our area special, and letting you know what to expect when you head out the door. The Emmy Award-winning News 3 Now This Morning, weekdays. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Rock County's only free medical clinic is facing the possibility of financial failure after moving to a new facility just last year.
Our Maddie Heimsch went to the clinic to find out why.
Last year, the HealthNet CEO called the facility upgrade much needed. This year, the board president calls it a financial struggle.
I've had a lot of sleepless nights trying to figure out how to keep the lights on and how to keep the doors open.
President Michael Davis says there was great confidence in the organization after their capital campaign. The goal was to consolidate their services under one roof, serve more community members, and provide a more polished space to patients.
What we didn't anticipate and what we probably lost sight of during the whole capital campaign was operational costs.
Those costs and other factors that Davis calls a perfect storm have since affected the organization's bottom line. The once volunteer-only clinic has resorted to creating paid positions to sustain patient care, causing further spending. A number of grants have helped HealthNet keep its doors open through 2023, but with the new year approaching, Davis hopes they can find sustainable solutions.
Not sure what the future of HealthNet will look like, but we are doing our best to make sure that HealthNet is here as the safety net it's meant to be for our community.
HealthNet serves more than 4,000 patients, more than half of which live below the federal poverty line, and many who face chronic health conditions and can't afford lifetime costs. In Janesville, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
This year, 4 major healthcare providers have merged and caused price increases for their patients, causing more to rely on alternative care options throughout the state.
Today, the Badger volleyball team left for Tampa, playing in this year's Final Four with hopes of bringing back its second national championship in the last 3 years. The team departed from the field house today at noon. Wisconsin will face the number 2 seed Texas in the semifinals on Thursday night. The Badgers have been red hot this tournament, only losing 2 sets since it started, but the ladies will have their hands full with the Longhorns, who are the reigning national champs. Match starts 8:30 Central on ESPN Thursday night. Some pretty nice temps ahead for the volleyball team, near 70 for most of the week down in Tampa.
A little bit of a different story here, but no snow on the ground. Here's Gary with the forecast.
Yeah, let's start with the good news if you like mild temperatures. The high temperature trend over the next 10 days, average high temperature goes from 33 down to 30. Take a look at what our high temperatures are. Mainly 40 and above. So we're talking temperatures that are 10 to 15 degrees or more above normal for the next 10 days. That does not bode well for a white Christmas around here. We talked about it yesterday. Take a look. Just in the last 24 hours, the snowpack has shrunk from about La Crosse to Green Bay line. Now it's north of there and continues to shrink, and there's not much in the way of snow on the way. In fact, across the country, only 19% of the country has snow cover today. This time last year, we were about 30%, and by Christmas, it was about 50%. That doesn't seem like it's going to be the case this year. 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, almost the exact same as yesterday. Above normal temperatures through the entire country, December 20th through the 26th, that includes Christmas, with the highest probabilities 90% or better right across our part of the country, and below normal precipitation expected to our east and also to our north and west. The western and southwestern parts of the country actually are expecting above normal precipitation as an active storm track comes in off the Pacific Ocean and moves through the southwestern part of the country. But in the short term, it's just lake effect snow flurries and snow showers up on the eastern end of Lake Superior, a few light snow flurries over toward southwestern Iowa, but snowfall potential from the 2 longer range computer models. This is a 10-day forecast through early Friday morning. One of the computer models, less than an inch of snow at best across northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. The other one actually has a couple of inches through central Wisconsin, but this is mainly Friday night into Saturday morning, where we're just looking at a mix of rain and snow here, and then after that it just kind of melts away. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Above normal temperatures start tomorrow, and they continue probably through the Christmas holiday. Showers Friday night into Saturday morning, mainly in the form of rain. There could be a little mixed precipitation in there, but then dry weather for most, if not all, of next week. As we look out in the Pacific Ocean, this is a perfect El Nino weather pattern. Strong jet stream near the Hawaiian Islands, the other one up toward the Gulf of Alaska, bringing storm systems either to the north or to the south. And then when they get across the United States, the active storm track takes the main precipitation through the southern part of the United States, and the jet stream, the polar jet stream, right now coming in from the northwest. That's why we've been cold for the last couple of days, but notice how it starts pushing up to the north over the western portion of the country. As that moves eastward, guess what? Our temperatures start to warm up, and unfortunately, that's going to be the trend at least through the Christmas holiday, again, keeping the chances for a white Christmas at a minimum. Right now, high pressure just out to the west of us. You can see still kind of cold in the northern part of the Midwest, but a warm front out to the west of us, that'll be heading in our direction, and that will start the warming process. Right now, temperatures are mainly in the 20s in the northern portion of the state, around 30 here in the southern part of the state, but those temperatures will warm up with time, and tomorrow we'll probably be looking at milder conditions. Planning your night. 9 p.m. temperatures middle 20s with partly cloudy skies. By midnight, temperatures will drop into the lower 20s. Overnight low temperatures a little colder than last night. We're in the low 20s by 3 a.m. and around 20 degrees, give or take a degree or two, by 7 a.m. on tomorrow morning. Planning your night across Dane County. Brooklyn should drop to 19, Verona 22, Windsor at 22 with partly cloudy skies. The rest of southern Wisconsin, low 21 in Lone Rock, 21 in Baraboo, 18 in Camp Douglas. For tomorrow, look for skies to be partly sunny. It'll be a little milder with a high temperature of 40 degrees. And as we look at our first warned 7 to 10 day forecast, up to 47 on Thursday, 46 on Friday. Again, mainly rain showers Friday night into Saturday morning. Maybe mix a little snow in there, but at this point, not much, if any, in the way of any accumulation, and it'll melt after that because high temperatures will be in the upper 30s to the middle 40s through the end of next week. Maybe a slight chance for a rain shower by Friday of next week. As we check out first warned traffic, there was a traffic incident around Verona Road. They had the westbound Beltline backed up. Still some delays around Gammon Road, but that has started to ease up. Seeing some delays now on the eastbound Beltline around Seminole Highway and Fish Hatchery Road. Right now, a 22-minute on the eastbound Beltline from, or on the westbound Beltline from I-90, 3990 to University Avenue. 18 minutes back in the eastbound direction. 26 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990. 18 minutes on US 12 from Middleton to Sauk City, and 19 minutes from downtown to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue. That's your News 3 Now First Warned Traffic.
All right, Gary. Well, few people love maps quite like Gary does, but next at 5, how a man in Britain is turning those old maps of yesterday into artwork. That story just ahead.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You're the people who make junk disappear?
We brought a whole truckload of magic.
1-800 got junk. I love you.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Menards is celebrating Ryan Blaney's NASCAR Championship with 12% off everything till Christmas. Add recessed lighting to your home with dimmable 6-inch ultra-thin wafer downlights from Juno. They're easy to install, just $17.59 after 12% off. Keep your entire home tidy with our great selection of Libman cleaning supplies. Receive a $10 instant savings on any qualifying purchase of $30 or more on all Libman products.
Merry Christmas and enjoy your 12% off everything.
SSM Health and News 3 Now would like to invite you and your family to make a colorful connection this giving season. Go to channel3000.com to download a Time for Kids coloring sheet or find it in November's Madison magazine. Add color and a kind message, then mail it to SSM Health. They'll share with a hospital patient who can't be home for the holidays. And you might even see it on News 3 Now. Take time for kids and spread joy to others by making a colorful connection.
Experience the breathtaking production that leaves both audiences and critics awestruck. Les Miserables, February 14th through 18th at Overture Center. Tickets available at overture.org today.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
I'm not infallible, but my makeup is.
New Infallible Matte Resistance Liquid Lipstick by L'Oreal Paris. Transfer resistant, lightweight feel, up to 16 hours long lasting.
It makes me feel infallible. You're worth it.
You're the people who make junk disappear?
We brought a whole truckload of magic.
1-800-JUNK, I love you.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
These days, planning a journey is as easy as hit and go on your smartphone map.
Traditional maps of the past are nearly obsolete, but as Ian Lee reports, one British artist sees old maps as a new canvas.
These are all parliamentary boundary maps.
Most folks don't own a map.
This is absolutely stunning.
But English artist Ed Fairburn can't get enough of them.
What do you love about maps? I love the paper types, the textures. I love the stories that maps can tell.
Ed's journey begins with his pen, traveling in and outside the lines while drawing inspiration from each map's unique features.
I often think of UK locations like, it's like spaghetti on a plate. There's roads going in and out of everywhere. US locations are a little bit different.
American cities form grids.
I kind of see a lot of shapes and patterns in maps, almost like as kind of gestures or like choreography in the landscape.
Those streets, hills, and rivers morph into hair, cheekbones, and lips.
So you've got all these shapes that complement one another, but don't necessarily align perfectly.
His creative cartography is making its mark across the pond, featured at a Bend gallery in Denver. But it was Ed's transformations on TikTok.
I mean, it's just haunting, right?
That turned Catherine Ravel into a first-time art buyer. She owns 3 maps.
I came across a video of his process and was just completely mesmerized.
The map magic captured Catherine's kids' imaginations as well.
To be honest, they were a little bit delighted by a grown-up being a little naughty and drawing on maps. The idea that, they could get away with something like that, maybe a little inspired.
Drawing on the walls or something?
I think the idea of drawing on top of something that already existed was appealing to them, or maybe a little bit scandalous.
For Ed, it's an artistic adventure, with each piece arriving at its own destination. Ian Lee, CBS News, Southampton, England.
They're remarkable, aren't they? Ed's work can go anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000, depending on the size, complexity, and time to complete. We'll get a final check of your forecast when we come back.
The highest art is beautiful, timeless, inspired by the divine. Shin Yun. Coming to Milwaukee and Madison, February 3rd through the 11th.
Donate blood at Stoughton Health's upcoming blood drive on December 15th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event will be hosted at our Community Health and Wellness Center. Sign up online at bloodcenter.org.
Embrace the season of giving at the Century House. Donate $50 or more to charity and get $200 off any stressless recliner with power, any stressless recliner and ottoman, or any stressless home office chair. or get $200 off each stressless sofa seat, or $400 off all stressless Mayfair recliners and ottomans in all Paloma leather colors. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Willie Street Co-op has the perfect gift for every foodie on your list. Our seasonal gifts feature thoughtful selections of great goodies like culinary delights for your favorite gourmand or treats for the sweet tooth in your life and special items for the host with the most. We even have gift ideas for kids. And the best part is every time you purchase one of these seasonal items, you're supporting fair trade, local, and natural vendors. Be an amazing gift giver and do a world of good with Willie Street Co-op this holiday season. Willie Street Co-op. Everyone is welcome.
Whatever the holidays mean to you, get the most out of them in a new Honda. Whether it's taking in the lights with all your friends in a spacious Accord, or taking in a snow day in a rugged CRV. Your holiday adventure awaits with a new Honda during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Who am I?
Wow, is that really me?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Greenhut, the CEO of Plexiderm. All it takes is 10 minutes to reduce the appearance of under eye bags, wrinkles, and crow's feet. The instant results are from naturally based silicates found in shell clay. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms. This holiday season is the best time to try Plexiderm at our starter price of only $14.95. Visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Donate blood at Stoughton Health's upcoming blood drive on December 15th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event will be hosted at our Community Health and Wellness Center. Sign up online at bloodcenter.org.
The highest art is beautiful, timeless, inspired by the divine. Shin Yun. Coming to Milwaukee and Madison, February 3rd through the 11th.
We've got a lot of news to cover tonight. Our series, The COVID Generation, continues. As students' test scores plummeted after the pandemic, we look at one tutoring program that's helped getting kids back on track. That and more news tonight right here on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up in the next half hour, drive sober or get pulled over. The Pulled Over initiative starts this Friday. Hear from one father who has had to experience tragedy from someone who chose to drive impaired. That's coming up at 6.
Well, let's go to Gary. Final check of the forecast.
Nothing going on out there right now. It's actually pretty quiet. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam. Skies are partly cloudy. Temperatures right now, 30 in Madison, 32 in Janesville. Most of southern Wisconsin seeing temperatures within a degree or two of 30. Here in Dane County, it's 29 in Middleton, 30 in McFarland, and 31 in Stoughton. Factor in the winds, and we're talking wind chills right now in the middle teens, few places, or middle 20s into the upper teens, and these will stay pretty steady this evening.
All right, Gary, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.